Welcome to From Woof to Wow, the podcast that makes your training from confusing to crystal clear. I'm Josh, also known as the Dog Father, creator of Canine Education, and today we are tackling a question I hear all the time. And cheers, I'm outside, it's beautiful. Why does dog training still feel so hard in 2025? The truth is, even with all the information out there, the most owners are making the same three mistakes over and over and over. And they're not small mistakes, they can completely derail your training progress. But here's the good news, fixing them is easier than you think. So grab your coffee, or, well, in my case, water. I'm outside, beautiful day. It's pretty hot, 40 degrees. Maybe you're on a walk with your dog. Either way, stay tuned because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what these mistakes are, why they cause problems, and how to avoid them so your dog can become the calm and well behaved companion you've always wanted. All right. So, mistake number one, punishment instead of teaching. So, mistake number one is I notice that everyone focuses on the punishments, punishing bad behavior instead of teaching good behavior. This is still the most common issue I see even after 20 years in this business. People yell, they say no, they pull on the leash, and in some cases, they even use harsh tools. Listen, teach their own. I'm not saying that you are not getting results the way you're doing things. What I'm saying is that there's another way. Okay? It's my way. Doesn't mean that, you need to follow that protocol, so to speak, but it is by far, I find, the most helpful way to train your dog. It's one of the biggest things that caused me to, I guess you could say, turn the other way. If you've been following my podcast, you know that I was once an alpha role trainer as well as a balance trainer. So I've really kind of changed the philosophy as I've evolved over the years. So here's the truth, punishment might stop a behavior in the moment, but it doesn't teach your dog what to do instead. Think about it. If your dog jumps on guests and you yell, the jumping might stop for a second, but the next time someone walks in, boom, same thing happens, right? That's because punishment only suppresses behavior temporarily. It doesn't build understanding. Dogs don't learn by being told what not to do. They learn by being shown what works. I want you to think about that for a second. If you're skiing and you're going downhill and it's like a triple diamond or whatever you call it, when it's really hard, are you saying don't bang into a tree, don't bang into a tree, or are you looking for the openings, right? If you think about trees, you're going to hit a tree, all right? I don't know if that's a great analogy or not, but my point is that it's very relatable in the sense of us always correcting the behaviors. It's even like when we use timeouts. Timeouts is something I use very frequently, but when I am implementing a timeout, I know that the key is all about the positive. So if I redirect my dog for barking out the window and I bring him in down from the couch for 2 seconds and I bring him back up, if I'm not rewarding him if he still sees the dog through the window, then it's a loss. So it's all about working those behaviors. So here's an example. I worked with a family who had a Labrador that jumped on everyone. They tried everything, shouting, kneeing the dog, squirting water. That used to be a big one. Nothing worked. The dog was still bouncing off guests like a trampoline. All right? So what did we do? We flipped the script. We stopped reacting to the jumping and instead started rewarding calm sits and four paws on the floor. Guess what? Within 2 weeks, that dog was greeting people politely without anyone yelling. So here's your takeaway, stop putting energy into punishment, put it into clarity and consistency. Reward the behaviors you want and make those behaviors the easiest, most rewarding choice. Okay? It's so important to implement those positives. And yeah, you could continue to yell at that Labrador. And maybe, for example, that was one situation with a client, but it's possible that you've done this and maybe it did work. But my point is that we can do it without having to yell at your dog. So I guess it comes down to, why am I going to yell? It's about relationship. If you don't want a relationship with your dog, there's probably no point of you listening to me, because that's basically what I do. I create relationships. And I was so numb to this. I was always like, dogs are just supposed to obey, and that's it, that's all. That's how it works. I'm the boss, I'm the leader, I'm in charge. Obey, and everything will be great. I don't know. Maybe it's my old age. All I know is that as time went on, I realized that all the dogs I had, German Shepherds, Dobermans, Siberian Huskies, everything. It's just, in some ways, I felt like I had zero relationships with these dogs. Um, that's just me, right? Everyone's different. Anyhow, mistake number two, thinking socialization means dog parks. Mistake number two, right? Dog parks. I hear this all the time. Oh, my dog is socialized. We go to the dog park every day. Here's the problem. That is not real socialization. In fact, it can do more harm than good. Now, listen, I'm not denying play dates. I'm not even saying that dog parks are a no no for sure. But when you add in too much action, and, to me, it's just a matter of time. And I mean, a trainer, at least in my prerogative, a trainer is about prevention in some cases. And so putting my dog into that kind of situation where I know that most people are doing this to burn energy, most people are doing this to, because they haven't been home for 8 hours. This is just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Okay. True socialization isn't about throwing your dog into the park with 20 other dogs. It's about creating calm, positive experiences with the world. New sounds, new surfaces, new environments. Dog parks, they are chaos. You can't control the other dogs. You can't control the people. And one bad experience can create fear or reactivity that takes months to fix. I don't think I was so against dog parks until my specialty just over time became reactivity, aggression, anxiety. If I got a penny for every time I heard so and so got attacked in the dog park, and then ever since then, let me tell you, it's quite frequent. Instead, though, okay, think confidence, not chaos. For puppies, that means walking on different textures, sitting on a quiet patio, or hearing a vacuum in a safe space. For adult dogs, it's about calm exposure to kids, scooters, joggers, and traffic without overwhelming them. Like, we shouldn't be flooding them. I'll go to the Lachine Canal, not in the context of a dog who's overstimulated, or, I will just go with, for example, my dog who's very well socialized. And when we do this, we are typically sitting on a bench. We are allowing my dog to just see the world. People want to come by, people want to say hi. Fantastic. Come say hi. But it's controlled, and I'm controlling the narrative of how it works. Had a German Shepherd. Okay, client. The dog's name was Max. His owners thought he was aggressive because he barked at everything. In reality, he just wasn't socialized properly. Dog park trips just made it worse. We went back to the basics, controlled the exposure, one step at a time. In about, I'm going to be realistic, I think about 4 weeks, Max went from lunging at strollers to calmly walking past a busy playground. We still had to keep our distance a bit, but in 4 weeks, that's what we were doing. So, your takeaway is skip the chaos. Socialization isn't about dog quantity, it's about quality of experiences. I can't stress that enough. So if you do go to dog parks, maybe you have a group that you usually go with. Great, fantastic. But just understand that you want to be extra careful in those settings. I see too many dogs that are super stressed, and people think while they're running around in circles that they're happy, that they're in the dog park, but the reality is that they are stressed. All right? All right. So, next mistake is waiting too long to do recall training. I find people are waiting for the group classes and so on to start. This one is huge. Most people think recall is something, you teach when you need it. Like the first time your dog runs towards a squirrel, that's the worst time to start. Recall is a skill you build from day one in a distraction free environment to start, by the way. You want to teach your dog that coming to you is the best, most rewarding thing ever. Use a happy tone, keep it fun, and reward like crazy. You have to remember that the experience out here is so much better than you. All right. You need to be more exciting than the experience around you. And if you think that you are more exciting than what's around you all the time, you are going to be mistaken, my friend. So just try to implement new and fun ways to get your puppy to be intrigued and wanting to come to you. And remember, it's normal that they come to you early on. It's when they start building confidence. So you want to start when they're always coming to you. This is the time. This is when you reward them. Oh, but my puppy always comes. I don't need to reward. You will 2 years later when your dog's chasing every rabbit they see, right? So you need to think about these things ahead of time. One of my clients learned this the hard way. They let their young dog off leash before doing any recall work. The dog bolted towards the road. Luckily, no one got hurt, but it could have been a disaster. So, here's a pro tip: start recall inside your home, short distances, low distractions. Build up with like long lines outdoors in your backyard. Don't poison your recall cue by yelling at them or, when you're angry. Don't make it negative. Make it a party every time your dog comes back. Bottom line is, don't wait for the emergency to teach the emergency skill. So let's recap. All right. The three big mistakes that most dog owners make: relying on punishment instead of teaching what they want, thinking socialization always means dog parks, waiting too long to train recall. If you take just one thing from this episode, okay, let it be this: good training isn't about perfection. It's about clear communication, consistency, and building trust. And by the way, consistency to me, as a family guy who works a ton, is not doing, an hour a day of training. Okay. Yes, I might do an hour when I'm with my client, but, at most 15 minutes a day is the magic number. All right. Listen, thank you for joining me on From Woof to Wow. If you enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor, subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a review. And if you want more tips like this, follow me on Instagram at the Dogfather Josh, or check the link in the show notes for free resources and upcoming online courses. Until next time, remember, every dog can go from woof to wow. Have a good one.